Should have put it on airplane mode. What, here? Me? Most of what we talked about today is not going to make the cut that you guys are going to see.
But this was
And this will make the cut. This is how we should start the trailer.
That's fucking ironic. Yeah, I love
Most of what we said today is not going to make
They're
it.
gonna make it out.
What's better than having two ADHD individuals sitting in front of a camera and just talking without any agenda?
What better? I can come up with a list now.
Yeah, obviously, but I'm talking about particularly this scenario. Jesus, and maybe the better was not the right word, but it's quite chaotic. Really cool. We're back. It's been a while, man.
We're back.
Were you my last guest before you became my co-host?
I think you had an episode after.
We had another episode. Who was our last episode?
Right. I don't know, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Thank you for watching this again. Welcome back. It's been a minute. A lot of changes, I think.
Yeah, coming up. I guess.
A lot of changes coming up.
I think that guy
We can talk about
is a big change, no? I mean,
A big small change.
a small change.
Small effective
A
efficient change.
tiny hobbit change.
Tiny way easy.
Hey, chill, bro.
Show you who's tiny.
Oh yeah. Shut up, forehead. What are you talking about? The format will change as well for those for our loyal listeners. We're gonna spice it up a bit. We're gonna make it a bit more relaxed, a bit funnier, a bit more creative. Thanks to Matt and Lily and Joanne, because I am the least creative human being on the planet. But I can talk about stuff for a long time. Yeah, I'm pretty creative when I want to be. If I'm engaged, if I'm interested.
Everyone can be creative.
Yeah, I think it's a skill, eh? It's true. And I think we're going to move away from the interview style. I think we're going to be a bit more conversational, me and you. We'll have some games. We'll have some games as in
Interesting
thematic
segments.
Yeah, thematic exercises. Thought exercises, if you'd like to call them. Segments.
Think tanks.
Think tanks. Oh, God. I think we're going to also talk a lot about the world of social media when it comes to careers and business and hustle. Particularly your raging hatred towards LinkedIn.
It's cringe.
It's pretty cringe.
Let's face it.
I don't know. I've definitely got on the cringe train of LinkedIn. I started trying to use it, but it's evolved into the stage of
Devolved.
It's devolved into what Facebook has become with Marketplace in the last 2 years, where it's just
wow, that's a really.
it's
good
lost
way to put it.
it's lost its value because everybody's doing it now.
And I don't get why people just take this approach that, like, if you're communicating on LinkedIn, you should not be yourself. You should always sound as a more professional version of you.
I think the argument against that, to be devil's advocate, is that whenever you're working for a corporation, which is most people that are on LinkedIn, you kind of have to put an act. And for anybody who's worked in a corporation or tried to go up the career ladder or build something, like, you have to act a certain way, right? You need to align yourself with the value system of that corporation. I'm talking about like large corporate. Like I've worked for HSBC for 15 years. I had to restrain.
For sure. But those would be the exceptional cases where actually LinkedIn might make sense. No?
Yeah, no, for sure.
But if you're a fun marketing executive working in an agency, you don't have to sound too.
Yeah, no, that's it. I think then it's
you can be yourself a bit.
Yeah, it's the over.
Especially if your employer's brand does leave room for personality. You know.
I think it's the over complication and the over stating of something. What, am I low? I'll get back to it. Sorry, I relax. It is the overcomplication and the overstating of something that, like, you're making something sound bigger than it actually is.
Exactly.
I don't have a really good word for it right now. It's quite late in the day and I'm very tired. But overstating
Yeah, exaggerating.
exaggerating what you do and how you do it.
Yeah.
I understand why people do it. You're overselling yourself. I've done it. I've been there. I'm not judging anyone. Listen, we've all been there. We've all done it. When you
But
try to
it's
close it,
cringe, and we're gonna call it out.
and yeah, we're gonna
it's
call it out. I think for the reason of that. Let's talk about marketing, because you're a marketing person. And I've experienced this with so many of my clients, where I go in and I kind of look at their marketing suite that they've been offered, or they're working with an agency, and I see, man, like, this is, you literally need 5% of what you've been offered, right? So you're paying X amount of money, and you're like, you could get this at 5 as a fractional amount of this, right? You get a fractional CMO, like such as yourself, at a much cheaper rate in a way. And a fractional CMO is one person, you've got an agency, and a fractional CMO is nimble, is agile, can come up with stuff, they usually have contacts, they can get you really good deals, good prices. But then you get to the stage where someone who's like a fractional freelancer, like such as you were and such as I am, because I'm a fractional C-suite as well now, and I've been doing it for almost 2 years, and you know, I've ramped up, you know, I'm quite happy with the activity and the clients I get. You know, you want to keep things simple. You don't want to like bullshit too much, right? You want to sell it and say, listen, this is what I can do. But then at the end of the day, if you're overcomplicating things and you can't explain something that your client understands,
that's the thing. That's happening across all channels. Like, I don't get why brands only post like advert style content on social media. You know, when it's supposed to sound social, it's about bringing your personality and connecting. And that's why I find LinkedIn so cringe, because you mentioned people have to behave in a certain manner because they're part of a brand. Fine, yes, but you're representing yourself, not the brand. Now, the brand you work for. Now, that's
your personal brand, you mean?
Yeah, that is part of who you are. And
for sure.
if you are not aligned with the brand you're working with or for, I don't know, there's a bit of tension going on. And
I think it's like a really backwards mentality where, oh, we need to be like, look really professional all the time, where...
What happened to human, you know?
Yeah,
and it's like everyone's actively trying to not be themselves nowadays.
Yeah.
Like even us, we're gonna fall into that trap today. Like, no, we need to be this needs to be polished. Let's just swing it. Yes, and like
it's like, I always use this example when I coach agents in the real estate industry, and I tell them. So I've been lucky that you know, one of my clients is a real estate agency, right? And part of my role as a COO is to also coach performance. And I kind of deliver sometimes like these keynote sessions or workshops, whatever you want to call them. And I always relate it to the music industry, where we look at like the music industry from the boom, right? Mid-50s up until early mid-90s, where like musicians made their money through concerts.
Yeah.
Because that's the human connection. They get to connect to their audience, and they build like really good... we went to see Led Zeppelin live and they were really cool, or this guy threw the hat, or he threw his jacket, whatever. And they were sex gods back then, right? So they were like sex idols and all that. Still are. But what happened? Then in the 90s, kind of CD-ROMs came in, and kind of what happened? Lip syncing started becoming a thing because concerts become less profitable, and musicians made more money through CDs, right? Yeah. And then we went into the digital age, when there was like, you know, the LimeWire days, and we started getting streaming services, and then Spotify hit, right? So what happened when we hit the digital age and the internet, where music became downloadable? The music industry, the music companies, the production companies started making the money off of that. So then what happened is that singers or artists reverted back to live music, because the genuinity and the human connection died through that, and also the profit was not going to the musicians, they were going to the agencies. So they were like, shit, I need to make money, so I need to go back to the... So I feel that social media did that in terms of the real estate industry, that people crave connection, people crave real people that are not just advertising online to sell property, and then lifting and shifting that into the personal branding aspect, because there's so much garbage and so it's noise in social media, so much of the same, right? So let's say, like, look at real estate agencies, look at other industries, they'll most of the time they would use the same marketing agency. So you're just gonna get the same template just with a reskin.
And it's always like, let's see what our competitors did. Let's see what our
and let's do something edgy. And then the guy that does the one thing edgy everyone does them. So it stops being edgy, stops being
loses
cool.
its edge, exactly.
And then so who's winning? Who's winning in the social media war? Right? It's the people that are genuine. They talk how they talk. They put in a swear word here and there. They don't give a shit. And they talk like real human beings.
Yeah.
Most of my clients, in the first 15 minutes, I show them that I'm like, chill. I'm not here to be super professional.
Yeah.
And they usually like calm down. So they let their defenses down in terms of...
Because they're dealing with a human. So
Yeah,
it's like,
I can trust
if I
this
fuck
guy,
up
right?
or say
Yeah.
something, I'm gonna...
I can
he's
trust
gonna-
this guy, and I'm
Yeah.
fine with making a mistake. And honestly, if a client says, "Oh, I don't think that you're professional," I showed up in my first board meeting in one of my clients with my Crocs and shorts, and they looked at me and were like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
Like,
Like,
don't say that word.
what, the Crocs, dude? I already told you. I'm wearing Crocs right now. I'm very proud. I'm very proud of my Crocs. I've gotten people converted to wearing Crocs, and you would never go back to not wearing them. They are the ultimate shoe. It's crazy.
Shout
Yeah,
out
but-
to our sponsor.
Yeah, shout out
No.
to our sponsor. Bro, Crocs sponsor us, that'd be awesome. But I think, and I remember sitting with a manager, and this was like, I think 6-7 months in, my runway, we were like in phase 2, where we were starting seeing some results, we started seeing some kind of change in behavior, and this manager who had like, I think 20 agents into him, he was like honestly at the beginning, when I saw you walk in like with your t-shirt and not wearing like professional, I was like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? He was like, but then like, and I saw your value and you're very genuine and you're actually helping people. And I was like, it doesn't matter what you wear. And most of the time, the people that wear the suits are the people you need to kind of, I'm not generalizing here, but I'm saying that
No, that's it. And
from
it's
my
not,
experience.
And it's not about swearing makes you...
Oh yeah,
you
it's
know?
not about
It's
swearing.
about
Don't swear.
being yourself. You know, that's not... One of our slogans or values is that we agreed on personally, you and I. Fuck the hustle, you know.
Yeah,
Not
very the
that-
hustle,
And
yeah.
we're not here to preach like this is the way you should live. And but I think what's gonna be evident also in this podcast coming up is that we're not gonna be glorifying the hustle. You know, not that it is something bad, but there's enough glorification of it. There's over glorification of it. But being chill and being yourself and being a human being is okay too, you know, if that's what you want.
I think like hustle towards whatever gives you purpose, but don't be busy for the sake of it. So don't make you being busy your purpose.
Yeah, but
Like some people love to be busy, but they are busy on the wrong thing. So there's
find your purpose for sure, right?
Yeah, like I work. I pull 16-hour days, man. Like I work, but it's not because I'm busy all the time. It's because I'm really interested in whatever I'm doing, right? So like for me, every problem my clients give me is a Rubik's Cube that I need to solve, right? I engage the people around me. Like I've got a really, really decent network now that I can speak and ask. And it's, I've reached out to you in the past, reached out to Lily in the past. Like, can you help me with this? But it's about, so don't wear the fact that you're super busy as a badge of honor.
Exactly.
But much rather like focus on like what deep work are you doing? Like if I had to really boil down how much deep work I do in a day, it's probably 4 to 5 hours. And the rest, it's conversations, it's influencing, it's trying to figure out kind of, but I also have a lot of downtime. I train till 10 o'clock in the morning every single day. I'm at the gym at 5:30 or 6 or 7 sometimes, and I'm training till 10. I do a sauna, I'm relaxed. But then from 10 o'clock till 10 o'clock in the evening,
Yeah.
I'm non-stop, right? I need to remind myself to eat. I need to remind myself to and then I go and, spend some time with my daughter to make sure I factor that in. But at the end of the day, it's like, I love what I'm doing. I'm driving around. I'm meeting people I like. I meet people sometimes I don't like that much, but it's also a challenge. I'm like, okay, so how am I going to keep motivated with maybe a client that I'm not as invested, right? But I think that's it. Like, I think that's what matters in life. It's more. It's like you need to be busy. Like you need to be involved in something.
Busy, you need to have your purpose,
Yeah,
and
but you need to
it's
be
okay
engaged.
exactly. You need to live, not exist.
Like live like I love
But living doesn't mean being busy and not
Oh, no, no.
sleeping and not having
Yeah,
time
yeah,
for
yeah.
training
Like,
and
not
not having time
stressing.
for your kids. You know,
When I have someone like, I don't have time to train, I was like, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm running 7 businesses right now and I still train 3 hours.
it's never a question of time. Rarely a
Like-
question of time.
Like you should definitely make. And the thing is, like, listen, like we're in our 30s, right? Let's talk a bit about fitness because I train every single day.
I'm 40.
40? You're 40, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, I always thought he was my age. You're old. I'm joking. Sorry, like 4 years.
You're both.
At least I still got hair, man. What are you talking about? But I already see this being so good that I can actually like bounce off jokes. It's so good. But
Amazing.
What I was pushing at is like we need to take care of our bodies now.
Yes.
Like
yes.
when you're going to be in your 60s, you're going to like regret or say, "Oh, I'm glad I went through the hard time." Like in the last 2 weeks, I've made I've been through an injury. I've been kind of recovering and rehabbing for the last 6 months. It's been really tough because I want to train and I can't breathe and I can't sleep properly at night. But kind of out, and I make a decision the last 2 weeks. I was like, I'm just going to ignore it because my physio said, listen, the pain is all just kind of mind connection.
Because then
the fracture is healed.
There's like
So this fracture is
damage.
healed.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chances of you getting hurt again is very low unless it's like a freak accident. So you just need to kind of figure out ways out to work through the pain, like massage the area a bit, kind of and all that.
And
so
that
I made the
helps,
choice.
knowing that.
Yes,
it's okay.
that obviously helps. But like I made a decision in the last 2 weeks that I'm training every day. So every day I'm doing something. So I've been training every day for the last 2 weeks. My fingers are destroyed because it's jiu-jitsu, but I feel great. And I think I took my first rest day yesterday, and I felt like crap. And I just trained in the evening. I was like, I'm still gonna go and do a
You
session.
train at the gym.
On my rest day, I still train in the evening because I went to do a teacher
And you train in the morning usually, right?
So usually it's So I train
time?
at like 7 p.m. in the evening on.
But usually in the morning you train.
Usually
right?
I train in the
Very
morning,
early.
so like 6,
Freakish
either
early.
at 6 or 8. Yeah, I'm aggressively hugging other men.
Train something as well, no?
long time ago.
Like, what did you do? Like, what was the
When I was 18, you mean the other mat?
sport of choice?
I used to do ninjutsu before, so I
And it has
really,
some grappling stuff, though.
It
So
has a
what
lot
I
of
do-
grappling. Yeah, it's almost not all about grappling, but yeah. So I
But
do
it's all like
appreciate
wrist locks and standing stuff, right?
full of what?
So you don't do like wrestling takedowns and shit in ninjutsu, surely?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do like
Yeah,
some
no,
legs and everything?
ninjutsu, at least the one I was learning, has, I believe, 7 different schools. So you have one of them, in fact, it's called the bone breaking school in
So it's
Japanese.
like joint
So
locks.
it's literally, yeah. And it came from jiu-jitsu. Like they learned a lot from
So you
jiu-jitsu.
do like kimura holds and stuff like that?
Yeah. And it's even the throws, they're dangerous throws.
There's
In
no
fact,
throws,
like
mostly.
no.
No?
No. They're
So you do like scissor, you do a scissor
No,
takedown?
They are no, that's too fancy for ninjutsu. It's
Because the
much-
scissor takedown is really dangerous. Like it's banned in jiu-jitsu in every
no,
single
dangerous for the
guy getting taken down.
for the guy getting taken out.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's a bone break.
Explode both his knees.
Like if you go ahead with it, you will dislocate a shoulder,
Yeah.
break a neck, or whatever. Because it was meant to be efficient and
Debilitating.
deadly, not.
I think that's what I like about jiu-jitsu. It's kind of it's like you're safely controlling
Yeah.
safely. Like you could still break a lot of bones, but it's
It's about
aimed at-
controlling a person. Yeah.
It's aimed at controlling someone safely without getting him hurt.
If I'm not mistaken, it's derived from like law enforcement,
What?
right? In jiu-jitsu,
Jiu-jitsu is
in
derived from judo mainly. So it started off with judo and it just branched
wasn't it the other way around?
out. No. Judo is very much established.
But judo as a sport,
What?
as a
No,
sport.
judo was very much there was no jiu-jitsu. So the jiu-jitsu, like the Japanese jiu-jitsu is
Can we fact check this, Larry?
No, I fact checked because I've read quite a bit of books about it.
We'll take your word.
So like how jiu-jitsu started, there was a mass migration from Japan to Brazil in the early 19 or late 1800s, right?
No, but I'm talking about like
Jiu-jitsu started in the like late 1800s, early 1900s.
No.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, yes. The jiu-jitsu.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, but the other Jiu-Jitsu is different. That involves striking.
Okay. So
that's why
we're
it's called
talking about two
BJJ.
different...
Well, it was initially called Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And then
No,
they
I'm
changed
talking
it
about
to
the
Brazilian.
Jiu-Jitsu that the samurai used to learn.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking
yeah,
about. As a ninjutsu
that
is
was
derived
before
from
judo,
that.
but it's different. It's
Alright.
kind of it's there are some techniques that evolved into BJJ and stuff, but you know, and you can fact check me, I might be wrong, but from what I've learned and I've read, is that the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that I train, and that most people are like, you know, the explosion of popularity that brought obviously through the UFC and stuff. There was a big migration, and they were essentially a massive ship or a freight ship that was traveling from Japan to Brazil. Took X amount of months to get there, and this ship was full of judo black belts, and they called it the floating dojo. And these black belts landed in Brazil, teaching jiu-jitsu to everyone, right? And
Wow, they imported.
and like and you know, and Carlos Gracie, I think it is Carlos Gracie, or I think so. I think Carlos Gracie, you know, started learning under this guy, and then kind of started evolving. He was a really big marketer, and then it just grew.
And is he the guy who actually was undefeated against and challenged other martial arts?
There was no one undefeated in Jiu-Jitsu. There's never been anyone who's been undefeated in Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh.
That's the nice thing about the sport, that nobody is unbeatable. Because it's A beats B, B beats C, C beats A, right? So like there's styles. But there are legends, like Kimura, for example, was a massive judoka, and when he fought against Helio Gracie, Helio Gracie is the person that kind of would go around and challenge, and Helio Gracie was this skinny guy, so he built jiu-jitsu.
Maybe that's who I was.
So Helio Gracie evolved jiu-jitsu to be the little man's fighting art, right? The martial art, because he was weak, and he did say, he was like, I was always weak, and I was born weak, and I will die weak. It's like, I am a weak man, but I have the heart of the samurai. And he fought this guy Kimura, who was the most renowned judoka in the world.
Wow.
And he was much bigger than this guy. And he challenged him, and this Kimura guy was in Brazil, and he challenged him, and he was like, no, I'll give you my second. You can fight my second. And Helio Gracie submitted him in under a minute. And then he had to fight him. He was like, no, I found out the second best guy in the world. And anyway, Helio, so Kimura like started really putting it on to him, but this guy defended, and he lost it. Like, he just wouldn't yield. This guy was, Helio Gracie was really defending and regarding and all that. And then he got him in a lock after like 6.5 minutes of fighting, and Helio just didn't tap. He put him to sleep, broke his arm, and he still didn't tap. He was like, I'm not giving up. And he just showed what a warrior he is, right?
Yeah, heart of the
but then obviously his kids, so Helio had like 28 kids or something ridiculous like that. And then he kind of just...
From around the world.
Oh yeah, no. He had this really twisted version of women should be only there to like reproduce and make kids.
Oh wow!
So he used to sleep with different women and have different kids from different women, and he raised his kids like soldiers, right? Like
and he raised all the kids.
Yeah, he raised all the kids in the dojo. Yeah, so he was like, and like I mean, the Gracie family is legendary when it comes to jiu-jitsu. You know, you've got you've got Roger Gracie, you've got obviously Henner and Hector, who are like.
That's why it's literally everywhere, though.
Yeah, the Gracies are everywhere. And then he called it Gracie. His brother wanted to call it Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and they split up, and then they ended up agreeing it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But let's stop there about Jiu-Jitsu. I don't want to get into it too much.
It's always a subject that
it's very
martial
wide.
arts and war. I love talking about it, studying it. It's
I think that like a lot of people. I'm surprised when a lot of people don't understand World War I and World War II, because I'm a big nerd about that stuff as well. I love like.
What do you mean don't understand?
They don't understand how easy it was to manipulate the masses, and and they don't understand how much of a massive scale this happened. And this happened like especially World War I, right? Because World War I happened overnight. Bro.
Of course,
overnight. This guy got shot
from an SSA.
And then. Like how so this guy, so Archduke Ferdinand got killed, and I don't know who was it. I think the French blamed Serbia, right? And they said, we're at war with Serbia because you guys killed. And they were like, no, we're not. And Germany was like, no, they're not. So we're at war with you now. And then they started fighting. And then the UK was like, no, you're not. And then we're at war with you. And then within like overnight, just everybody just
the Spider-Man meme.
And then World War II, obviously, like it was very much different. But like him or not, like Winston Churchill was one of the biggest.
And World War II could have been avoided if there was a more diplomatic way to deal with Germany for losing the war. Because, like,
Oh yeah, the
Versailles Treaty,
yeah, Versailles Treaty killed.
like, when you create hard times, villains.
Yeah,
are-
so
are
the
created.
the Versailles Treaty was the reason why World War II started, obviously, but
Yeah.
because it was such a
No,
such a
and it
draconic
put
approach
people,
to-
but it put people in so much hardship that they would buy into any story
Oh,
that
yeah,
gives
anything that's
them
gonna
like,
change.
and humans are capable of a lot of good, but a lot of evil or complacency, which is worse
I think once you
for comfort.
once you convince a populace that once you convince them that there's an enemy and then you dehumanize that enemy, which is what they did with the Jews, right? And you remove the humanity from them, which is what they did, then it's very easy to justify it.
Yeah,
Because, you know, in his eyes, like, no, I'm not talking about that the high ranking ones. I'm
don't
talking
say.
about the people that kind of, what?
don't say that word because of YouTube and stuff.
Oh. I don't know. And the German
So we
guys,
bleep it.
And the German guys, they were right, eh? Like most of the sympathizers were like, oh yeah, this is the right choice. This is what we should be doing.
That happens all the time, right? There's always a scapegoat.
Oh no, 100%. And I think like
The right blames the left, the left.
and that's where I think we need to be really, really careful with today's politics. I think politics is really polarizing again. Like it's crazy how.
But that's the only way you can get it's by nature politics has to be
Yeah.
polarizing. Otherwise, you don't get people who follow you and spread the word
Yeah,
and vote for you. And getting
it's-
people to vote today isn't just. It's not easy.
No,
Like,
it's not.
People are so numb. Like
But
that-
that's it, right? It's the numbness, huh?
But that's how you. It's the only way you can get people to do something by making them mobilize and hate someone else.
Yeah, like anger is such a powerful
and
tool.
hate.
I mean, look at social media as well. Like, no, let's move away from politics. Let's talk about social media. Like a lot of channels, their tactic is literally like piss off my audience because people engage.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're not right. Like some
Trolling.
people put like
Trolling is a-
some people like mistype something on purpose, or they'll say something which is completely not true.
Yeah.
On purpose, and then
Yeah.
it's it's mental. Huh?
Amazing. It's genius as well. Like,
Yeah, but
have
like you need to be a psychopath to rage bait people. You have to. You need to have some form of sociopathy or something to relish in the anger of others is a narcissistic trait.
A sociopathic, I would say, maybe. But everyone is a bit of a sociopath, let's put it that way. But it is a smart way of getting people's attention. It can also be dangerous if you take it too far. That's when it becomes wrong.
Yeah, but then I mean that's
but
everything. No?
I think it's a solid tactic to
Yeah,
kind of,
But you can take empathy too far. You can take you can take
fucking
you can take virtuosity too far as well.
Yes.
Like
Yes, yeah, but
like what happened now, obviously the left now it's swinging back a bit to the right, and that's normal. That's called the dialectic approach. Like Karl Marx predicted that in the early 1900s, and he did say, predicted it. He wrote about it. He was like, politics will always swing from an extreme to another, and then it meets in the middle for a bit, and then it.
because that's what people want. People want
Yeah.
something in the middle. Like
Yeah.
my theory.
But I
is-
think the closest we were to that middle bit is when just before Obama became president the first time. Because like the first 4 years of Obama were pretty centrist in terms of his politics. If you had to look at it backwards now, I think who did Obama take over from? It was from Bush, right?
Bush, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously Bush kind of had his time, and then kind of like he was getting stale. His last 4 years was a bit stale. His first 4 years were great because how he reacted to 9/11, but then kind of we just died out. And then Obama came in with this change, and we're going to be like great, and that's perfect, and it worked, and it was like he shifted the pendulum to the left. But then the left became way too extreme because again they piggybacked on that virtuosity, they piggybacked on that empathy. And then it became ridiculous. Like some of the shit that they were talking about was really ridiculous. And they were like, okay, so what happens? And then someone like Trump comes in, who is another like polarizing figure,
Another entertaining
disruptor, an entertainer, like a disruptor and all that, and agree or not with him, he convinced people to vote for him.
Yeah, 'cause-
twice, 3 times, not twice.
My theory is, and he's pushing to be able to do it a third time, right? My theory is people.
Is he, or is it like just sensationalist stuff?
I
Because then when they asked him directly, he was like, nah.
yeah, he's trolling people.
I think he's trolling.
That's.
But
it
we
could be.
never know,
Could
buddy.
be.
We never
Exactly.
know.
We
That's the
will.
thing.
We will.
Oh, we
eventually.
will. But I doubt it. I mean,
My theory is people voted for Trump because they want something in the middle, and the left took it too far left, So
Yeah.
it but it doesn't mean that people want to live in a world that is more right leaning.
no, but I mean, it's going to shift back.
It's in the middle. Like you
It's gonna
can't
shift.
say if I don't like socialism, it doesn't mean I don't agree with some of the values that socialism brings.
Yeah, like for example, I'm mostly
like I
I'm
can't.
mostly left-leaning. Like if I had to look at, for example, a lot of the liberties that come with the left-leaning aspect, like with leftist politics, I'm mostly in agreement with it. And then when I don't agree, then it's like the when we start delving into a bit too much.
Because
But
this is because this
I don't want to
is
go into detail because I don't want this to be a politics podcast. If I'm honest,
yeah, true.
it shouldn't be a political podcast.
let's stop
This
there.
is a business podcast. This is not even a business. It's a life podcast. It's a life one. And I think there's too many people talking about politics. Like who cares?
True.
Doesn't matter.
True.
It really doesn't matter.
Next.
Next. Like all that matters is that you vote. If you don't like something, then vote.
If you don't vote, you don't have the right to complain.
Yeah, that's 100%.
But anyway,
yeah, but I think for me it's more about the last 6 months have been rough with a lot of changes in my life, and I think a lot of experiences, but like I've still been happy in that sense of just take life, man. Just take life how it comes, and as long as you're healthy, you're fine. Even if you're not, like, you just work through it if you can. If you're not, like,
that should become your focus then,
That's it. Like I was on a roll last year, and then I got injured at the end of it. I spent most of Christmas in bed in the UK with painkillers. Traveling with a broken rib is not fun. But
Merry Christmas.
and then I kind of seeing all my friends coming back from competition, reinvigorated and all that, and they're really looking into upping their game, and I'm there and I can't even fucking train. Like, just sitting. I still kept going to the classes. I just didn't train. I sat there.
It became part of your lifestyle, right?
No, I think because I understand the power of habit, and I coach people on the power of habit, and I was like, if I drop the habit of waking up at 5 a.m., once I recover, I'm not going to go back to it. So I was like, the habit needs to stay. Even if I'm not training, I'm there. I'm there at 5:30, I'm there at 6, I'm there at 7.
5:30.
Yeah, and like I love it. It's part of my
You're
I
such
love
a morning person.
I never was, huh? Up until I turned 33, I was up till 3 a.m.
How old are you?
every day. I'm 36.
Oh, you're not that far.
So
away
3 years
from me.
ago. No, I told you I'm 4 years old.
I'm not tough.
Crazy.
So,
But like you should start. I was telling you before.
yes.
Stop being a bitch.
I will seriously consider it.
No, you should start. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do it or you're not welcome on the podcast. Yeah, I can't even say that anymore. But I think so let's talk a bit about what's coming up in the season, because the
especially
season is going to be.
maybe a teaser for the next episode.
So we're on season 3. I can't believe it. It's awesome. This started out as a really random idea. I spoke to a very good friend of mine, Lely, who I've known him for ages, and he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I think if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here today. We're literally in his house. But I've learned so much. I've become so. I remember I was the House of God. Did you
House
say?
of God.
Jesus.
Because he's the voice.
Like Lely's my Jamie. He's the Jamie to my Rogan. You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, but
He takes that strategic position behind the camera.
he's the technical guy. He's the production guy.
He makes shit happen. He
Look at
decides
him.
what
Look at
to
his
get.
beautiful bald head checking the camera, man. Amazing.
Exactly.
But you know, with season 1, like I remember the first 4 or 5 episodes, I was really nervous in front of the camera for some reason, and now I'm like, I just ignore it. It's not there anymore. The mic's in my face is kind of annoying, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. We're trying to get wireless mics, but how are we on that later? What's the keep saying? It's coming. It's coming. It's there.
That's
It's in the
what she
pipeline.
said.
It's a feature. It's in the pipeline.
What other things have you kind of have you ever been on camera before? Ever?
Yeah. Well, not on a podcast.
Yeah, he's shot some questionable tapes. I'm joking. No, I don't know what you've done.
Well.
So what I wanted to say is, we're in season 3 now. You know, I think like I reached out to you because I really wanted to get the momentum back on, and we vibed. And I think it's we both have ADHD. It's good like to just have somebody to bounce off. So theme is that I think we agreed it in like 2-3 meetings ago that with or without the guest, the podcast is happening.
Yes.
Which means we're gonna have a guest every show, right? Or we'll try to. Well, I think we will.
We're gonna have guests.
We're gonna have a guest every show, or we're gonna have guests. But the show is not fully focused on the spotlight of the guest, but it's much rather us talking about stuff, current things.
We're gonna try create our own little world, whatever that turns out to be, and we're gonna invite people to participate in it.
Yeah, and we're gonna wing it, and we're gonna
smash it.
Yeah,
and grow
People
up.
are gonna tell us to grow up. We're not gonna grow up. People are gonna tell us to like, guys, just grow up.
Yeah, we might actually change that.
You're
name,
40.
Right?
We could. Hey man, I'm
Any
down
suggestions,
to
guys?
I'm down to change. Yeah, you suggested a change
For season
to the
4
podcast. Yeah, we'll put that in the caption.
Yeah,
but we've got some interesting guests coming already. I think
I'm excited about our first guest next.
First
week.
guest, I am also very much excited. Yes, so we hope to really have a good sink our teeth into it. Hey, nice.
And that's your hint, guys. Can you try and guess what this first guest actually does? You never guess.
No, you're not gonna.
But try.
Try.
It will be very nice.
Yeah.
I think you try. Make spelling mistakes and typos so we can rage people.
Yeah, let's rage people. like write your with an apostrophe. But when you
no!
do that. There and THEY apostrophe RE.
Grammar with an E.
Yes, grammar with an E. I'm trying to think of other rage-based stuff, but I can't. I don't like infuriating others.
You don't? Really?
I don't like anything.
Wow.
But I'm a very non-confrontational.
You need to read the
I
art.
can't confront.
You need to read The Art of War.
I've read The Art of War.
So
Many
we'll live
times.
it too.
What, provoke? Oh yeah, you provoke your enemy into. Yeah, that's good. That's such a good book, huh? It's crazy.
I'm reading
Written
it again right
yeah,
now.
I should pick it up again. I've not finished Ikigai yet, and that's been like a year.
Me too.
But I read Breathe by Hicks and Gracie. It is about jiu-jitsu, but it's about relaxing in difficult times and breathing.
Oh, that's
Kind of like jiu-jitsu teaches you that, like when you're
Yeah.
getting, someone's chest is in your face and you're getting smothered, the last thing you want to do is like panic and start pushing and wasting all your energy. You need to like just chill and breathe and wait for your opponent to make a
Shit.
mistake. No, it's literally stop. Like just stop moving, assess what is going around you, take a deep breath, put your frames in, like put your safety precautions in. And it's such a good analogy for life. Like if you're going through a shit time, the last thing you want to do is just keep paddling, just like chill,
Slow the fuck down.
slow the fuck down, understand what's going on, and then you work slowly, like grind towards the light, the tunnel.
Yeah, martial arts.
So
I really think everyone should practice some kind of martial art in their life.
I posted something, and I'm gonna pick up my phone. I don't
It's
care.
such a good
This is a
life
new thing.
lesson.
We're gonna pick up our phones if we need to check something.
Yeah.
I don't want to use a laptop
Let's
anymore.
discuss that.
Oh yeah, this is it. So it's like every man needs to try full contact martial art once in his life. Like anything like boxing, wrestling, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, it doesn't matter. You need to discover that you are clueless about fighting. You need to know that you are not the guy you think you are. And then you need to learn exactly where you stand. And it's better to learn it in the gym than, in real life.
When you really.
And listen, and the thing is, you learn to avoid real life fights because you can get hurt so easily. Earlier this week, I gave a guy a black eye and I just gently tapped him with my elbow. He was on my back. He was trying to take my back and I was defending it. And I just did this to defend the hook, which was the correct move. But he was trying some weird move where he leant his face in, and I gently tapped him. I was like, "You okay?" He was like, "Yeah, no problem." And we kept sparring for 3 minutes, and after the sparring round was over, I looked back at him, and his eye had a massive, like, bulge, which was blue.
That's a battle scar right there.
No, but then I saw him this morning, and his eye was completely black. And I was like, Jesus Christ. It looks like so much worse than it is.
They said, I can't remember the exact figure, but
4,000%. It's how much you overestimate your ability to fight.
Yeah.
4,000%.
How guys overestimate their ability to fight.
Yeah. Today I saw this massive jacked guy, weighs 80 to 83 kilos. He got beat up by a 16-year-old kid who's been training a few weeks more than him. 16-year-old.
I saw that once.
Skinny 16-year-old kid.
In boxing, the 16-year-old kid, he was...
Wow. You're not that guy, man.
No.
You're not that guy.
Years old.
No, for anyone listening, you're not that guy. You're not that guy.
Yeah.
When you're freaking young.
Absolutely. But the thing is, I think
I'm gonna sound corny. Yes.
The best time to start is like now. Like if you've got the ability, and listen, you said something.
That sounds like a LinkedIn post.
You said, oh yeah, fuck, it's us. But you said something before we started, which was, it's really hard because I feel like I'm gonna throw up if I start. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But like the first 3-4 sessions, I remember I had to stop after the first sparring session, go in the toilet and just sit in front of the toilet, get ready to throw up. And then my blood pressure would regulate, and then I realized, I just need to have a Gatorade before, so my sugar is there. And then like after the third session, I forgot about it. I stop. I'll gas out, but I'll be like, I'm just tired. Yeah, I'm not gonna get sick. You know, you kind of get used to like your heart. But that's just cardio.
It's a process. Yeah.
If you never do that, you're gonna run out of breath running up the stairs, going up the stairs in 5 years, bro. So might as well.
Well, that sometimes happens now. So
yeah, like sometimes I catch myself going up like a really steep hill, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm fine. I'm not even sweat. I'm not even like remotely like I'm not even remotely getting tired going up the hill. I used to get tired going up 4 steps, you know. But now I've been training every day for like a year and a half.
That's not that long when you think about it.
No, it's not. Like my body, like I was telling my friends for the first time ever in my life, I take my shirt off and I'm happy with what I see. Like, because before I look at my, Jesus Christ. I'm either a fat piece of shit or I'm a skinny piece of shit. And now I'm like, I look good.
I don't really mind my upcoming dad bod, honestly, because I was always a skinny guy and I always wanted to put on some weight to actually find clothes that fit. So
yeah, but at the same time, you also build. But like, listen, you know what self-love is, man? Is doing something really fucking hard.
That's true.
And then being really happy once you're out of it the other way.
When did you? After how long did you feel that you were a fit person? Like, how long did it take to feel that way?
A month ago. When I started lifting.
So over a year, you didn't feel fit?
I felt fit in jiu-jitsu, but I was like, I still need strength. So then I started lifting regularly.
Yes, but
so I started lifting twice a week.
Like,
oh no! Like I mean, when I was prepped for competition, I was probably the peak in terms of like cardio.
So that's like almost
November last year. So it would have been. So I think probably. So I properly started in March last year. Because I started in July the year before, and then I stopped.
Like 6.
But I think like by July I was already seeing great benefits. I lost like 6 kilos, 7 kilos.
And you kept training in summer,
yeah. Yeah, bro. It's the hardest part, but because I was training in the morning, it wasn't that hard.
These fucking taps, bro.
What? Oh, you said you were gonna mention it. You were looking for.
How can you not too? No, I was looking for water, but obviously I can't forget.
What a shit idea. What a horrible idea.
And we're so proud of it. Like, this is the
yeah, man. I always love looking at
EU innovation.
Yeah, I always love looking at people's happy faces when they're putting the bottles in the BCIS machine. They all look so happy. They're all like, man, I fucking love my government for making this decision.
You saw that video of that guy who found that loophole in the machines? Like,
yeah, with the thing. Yeah, that's really cool.
Smart guy, eh?
Very smart. Excellent. Excellent. It drove me to the insanity, to the level that I no longer buy bottled water. I bought a little carbon filter for my tap. And I've been doing that for the last 7 months now.
Yeah,
€100, done.
RO,
huh?
The RO or
I don't know, you just put it in the filter.
No.
And you switch it, and it's decent. Like, once you get used to the taste, it's not that bad.
I installed the RO, it's the best.
Oh, reverse osmosis you're talking about?
The second best thing, yeah. The second best investment I did at home. The first is AC.
It requires a lot of maintenance, no?
No.
People say that it requires maintenance.
Oh, you can literally pay for like the maintenance agreement for a year, or they come every 6 months and they change the filters. That's it.
Not bad.
And you can do it yourself. You do like.
How about this plugin? Changes the filter. It's literally tastes better. It tastes as reverse as an RO, as you call it. I've never heard anyone call reverse osmosis RO.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe because my dad used to be a maintenance manager and
So
lots of technical
jargon. That's cool. What did your dad do then? What did he manage?
He was a maintenance manager at a hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, hospitality hotels.
My dad was maintenance manager in an oil company.
In an oil company. Wow.
To maintain the boilers.
You never heard about an RO? Oh, well.
What are they going to reverse osmosis? The oil, bro. What the fuck?
Reverse osmosis.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
طيب.
Definitely off my field.
X'taħseb? What?
Let's do a
Oh, been around.
Any event that kind of really either pissed you off or made you happy or anything in the past week?
Ah, Jesus. Where do I start?
Just one. Just all.
Pissed me off.
When you prepare something for a client, wait, let me evaluate what I'm about to say. Give me a sec. I need to make sure that this cannot be listened to by my client and say, "Oh, that's me." Bro, if you've hired me as your consultant, listen to me. Because the reason you've hired me is because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So listen to me, please.
Sometimes I think people just enjoy paying other people money for nothing.
I'd rather not work with you if you're not going to listen to me. Please. It pisses me off. It gives me a lot of extra work. I'd rather you tell me, listen, I don't want to do this, and I don't do the work. And I don't invoice you. I'm much happier that way. Because if you're wasting my time, don't devalue my...
So you did, let me guess, you worked on something you agreed to work on with your client, and once you did, he suddenly found out that it's not a good idea.
Let's not gender the client.
Oh yeah.
I don't want this to come back to... I don't want this to be traceable back to a particular client.
So all right. Should I say it again? So we.
No, it's okay. Keep going. This is good.
That's
yeah. So like the thing is, we've agreed, we've done the sign off, we've built the processes, we've planned for it, we spent the last 2 months building it, and then on the day, this is not what we agreed. Yeah, no, it is. I can show you 16 emails saying that is what we agreed. Or we decide to wing it. Or we fuck up this communication because we decide to tell someone before we've agreed what we're going to say. And honestly, this cannot be traced to one client because it's happened to me this week 3 times with 3 different clients. And I'm like,
So it's all your clients.
And honestly, but I give them the feedback.
So if they're your client, you're talking about that.
But like for me, if you are hiring somebody who's an expert or an SME in that particular area. Yes, you are an expert in your industry, but this person is an expert in marketing or operations or coaching or training or behavior or HR. Listen to this person. This person had the guts to go self-employed because they know that their value is there. Just listen to
even if they aren't self-employed, even if you're employing a COO or head of operations or whatever,
you're paying this person a lot of fucking money. Just let them make their own decisions. Yes, your job is to drive the vision as the director or whatever, but at the end of the day, let them do their job. Yeah. And it really pisses me off. It's like you go to a mechanic and be like, listen, something's wrong with my car. And be like, oh yeah, it's the oil. Like, no, it's not. I want to change my tires. I was like, yeah, but you're going to change your tires, but the problem is not going to change. What? But the thing is, it is literally the same thing, right? I'm telling you,
it's worse because
I want to hire more employees, but the problem's not the employees. The problem is that you don't have any processes. Doesn't matter. You can hire 60 employees, but if they don't have a process, they're not going to do it properly.
I don't know if it's a Maltese thing that everyone thinks they understand everything. Because I'm thinking it might be a Maltese thing because by nature, our culture like pushes us towards that space where you need to be a bit of a jack of all trades, you know?
A generalist.
A generalist,
But that's
yeah.
fine. Like, I'm a
Which is
generalist.
because Maltese by nature we're resourceful, like that. That's
yeah,
what our
100%.
history pushed
Yeah,
us
yeah,
to
yeah.
be. If we were,
Oh,
and,
for sure.
and that's a good thing. But sometimes being a generalist and just understanding this bit about operations gives you that 4,000% overestimation of your skills, and you think you understand
Yeah,
it.
I think it's just a habit. I think like for any entrepreneur that's made it, you need to have a little bit of delusion. Like you have to. Yeah, you need to have some positive delusion that it's gonna work.
Yeah, but
that
you
things are
also
gonna
need
work
to
out.
be, but you also need to be grounded and
Yes,
you
but
know.
and that's where the issue becomes. So then
And if you're an entrepreneur, you need to, one of the big things you need is to be able to make good decisions and listen to good advice.
So that's debatable from a Malta standpoint, I think. Because I think from a Malta standpoint, that once you gain a certain reputation, i.e. a good one, doesn't matter how dumb your decisions are, you're still gonna make money. I think like if you then, I think it will stop you from
Certain
scaling.
industries especially. Yeah.
So how many clients did you have that are at a stage where they are struggling to scale, and you realize, oh yeah, I can see why it's struggling to scale. It's because of the founder.
Yeah.
Nothing I do is gonna make this business get bigger.
Yeah, 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 it's a culture thing. Yeah.
And the culture it stems from the top, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's founder syndrome at the end of the day. Like, they need to let go and hire somebody that can take care of the business and scale it using methodologies that are proven and industry standards and all that stuff. But going back to what I was saying is that a founder has to take very much a lot of intuitive decisions when they're building the business, when they're building the model. And if they're successful, it means that some way or another they've taken the right decisions. So in their head, they've convinced themselves that every decision I take is going to be a good one because it served me in the past. But there's a saying, like how you make your first million is not how you're going to make the next 10. How you make the next 10 million is completely different. How you make the first 100 is completely different than the 10. So the way you think needs to change. But the problem is that usually a founder gets it to that stage and then they need to kind of just step the fuck back and give the business to someone to run it.
Or evolve, or keep on evolving, you know? Because as you said, you can't treat the next 9 million the same way you treated your first.
Yeah, and my struggle to now, I'm struggling to believe that that is even possible. I'm struggling to believe that a founder can do it without being able to let, but in general, without being able to let go. Like they need to step away from the business. They cannot.
Right, but we have lots of founders like. Tell that to Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, but Mark Zuckerberg let go. But Mark Zuckerberg did not keep controlling Facebook by himself. He hired people and he let them work.
But he was calling the shots.
Yes, but that's what a CEO does. But he kind of let people.
Yeah.
But I think.
So not step back, like involve other
but you
people.
need
Scale
to,
up.
yes, but then you need to trust the people you hire to do the
Yeah,
work.
you need to evolve.
Yes.
Literally, yes.
I think what Mark Zuckerberg did was he hired people to take care of his business, and I think last time it was said, like at most he has 20 people lining into him because he can't have any more.
Of course.
But then when you have, but that's the problem.
But then I find it very possible, and it makes a lot of sense for the founder to stay there and keep driving his vision.
Yes. So the vision, but then you need to learn.
I think there are a lot more case studies of the founder backing off and the project failing, because no one understands that vision as much as they do.
So maybe
especially initially.
I'll change the wording because maybe that's how it came across of like the founder leaving the business. But much rather, I meant like just kind of you need to take an advisory role.
Yeah, letting go of certain areas.
Take an advisory role.
Yeah,
so the process can build themselves, and then you advise kind of okay. Our vision is that we're going to really care about the customer, that our product is going to be really, really high standard, like a luxury or a boutique or a niche product. We're going to approach the marketing this way. This is how I want us to brand. But then you're going to need to let go. You can't like, you need to come to me for every bit of approval. Just go, work. And then I approve the final aspect of it. Or I delve in, you know?
I still think that one of the fundamental roles of the founder then would be to drive their vision.
Yeah.
You know,
direct.
but driving doesn't mean letting go and letting other people take the decisions. Operational decisions, like we know where we
Maybe I'm
go.
looking at it from an operation.
From an operator, yeah. Like,
because like marketing, he has to like say, yeah, I like this story where it's going.
The brand, he needs to own the brand.
But when it comes to operation, you tend to need the COO because COOs think.
Let's talk about something more technical, legal. You
Yeah.
can't, like, if your legal officer advised you that this is illegal or this is risky, you won't change the law. You need to listen to it. Finance.
But it's the same thing as operations. The thing is, operations
Exactly.
is very undervalued. Like the role of an operations manager
Totally.
becomes this. Unless the COO is really good at putting boundaries, it's very easy to become the lackey of the CEO, which is just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I think that was my struggle when I started. It was like, where do I draw the line? And now I'm very comfortable saying, nah, that's not what we're doing. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking part of that because that doesn't work. Because I know more than you. That's why I'm fucking here. Like
And COOs
in operations.
COOs and it used to be more common for CFOs to take this role, but now it's shifting more towards the COO. I find it. You're either the lackey or you are actually running the second most important person in the C-level.
I think so. Well, I think these days the CTO is probably the second most important person. Depends on the industry, but like
No,
most
but in
industries
terms
are
of
quite tech.
the CTO is very okay. If we talk about importance by like who you can't do without, the
You know what I
CTO
fucking hate? You know what I hate? This is
more than LinkedIn.
You know what grinds my gears? You know what irks me?
Water.
Most recently, there is. But anyway, most of this most of it's not going to make it. Most of what we talked about today is not going to make the cut that you guys are going to see.
But this was
And this will make the cut. This is how we should start the trailer.
That's fucking ironic. Yeah, I love.
Most of what we said today is not going to make
They're
it.
gonna make it out.
Make it on Patreon.
It's going to make it on Patreon. Those will give us their money now, man. Know what I'm saying?
Give us the moolah.
Yeah, man. Hit your big boy up with some money. Daddy's
This will make it out.
Daddy's got to buy a new Cadillac, you know what I mean? Why are we American?
What the fuck?
Why are we Will Smith all of a sudden?
Water's poison.
Oh, Jesus.
So talk about the general
I was like, fuck it, I give
role
up that.
namings that are happening at the moment across the board, because like the roles,
The general.
the roles that are being kind of given to people in general, even in the like lowest positions, is crazy to me.
Oh yeah, how creative they everyone's looking for a unicorn, for a
Like unicorn. So explain what a unicorn is, because I still don't understand what a unicorn is.
A unicorn is a rhino on a diet. No. Unicorn is something no one has ever seen before. Like you do not fit any box. You are unique.
Yeah,
That's
like
what
a
the unicorn.
generalist, yeah.
No.
I call them generalists. I call them people.
No, a unicorn, like a startup idea can be.
Oh,
a
you're talking
unicorn.
about but we're talking about roles, no?
No, we're talking about right now. We're talking about what unicorn means in.
So unicorn is a business that's kind of revolutionizing. Or
Unicorn
disrupting.
is something, anything, a person, a business, an idea that is. It doesn't fit any other description that currently exists. It's its own thing.
It's its own thing. Yeah.
Like
like-
so, a startup
like
can be a
Uber.
unicorn. Like most startups fail, but what exactly? Uber was a unicorn.
Like now everyone calls the Uber of something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey man, I'm gonna be Uber of real estate. So
The Uber.
it's crazy. But like we were talking about, like you're coming up with these roles and stuff, and over. That's the thing, man. That's another one that irks me from LinkedIn. I'm proud to announce that I've been promoted to senior.
I'm proud to
Plumber.
announce. wait.
Plumbers are fucking great people.
It's not. No, that's fine. I'm proud to announce that I am happily looking for opportunities. Like he's been fired. I mean, it's okay to have a positive outlook on life, but
I'm gonna do the thing again.
I think we'll make a tier list of
we should
cringeworthy.
the cringiest job titles. Yeah.
I think that's one thing I don't miss from large corporations, that you don't see it in small corporations.
That's true.
There's no bullshit in small companies. There's no bullshit in terms of there is no role that does not fit in that company. Like there is no people that are sitting in a role doing nothing.
Oh yes, that's for sure.
There's no room for fat.
There's if it is a successful.
Yeah, if it's
small
doing well,
business.
right? And I think like that's the one thing I do first is I go in, and if your role doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
you're getting the job, buddy. I'm really sorry, but but the company's losing money. I have to justify why I'm coming in, and you're either going to be repurposed, which is always the first option, retrained and repurposed, but like you need to be
If you're a
contributing.
fundamentalist, you can't really be.
But bro, if you're like a CFPO, we're going to have a problem. We're having issues.
You're either gonna lose a couple of letters.
I don't want to shit on CFPOs. They're probably CFOs are usually very smart people, and you said it's very crucial because I think the CFPO needs to drive a lot of the decisions of the business.
The
CFO, sorry.
Okay.
The CFO needs to drive a lot of the decisions because they know what's in the chest, And they can.
I don't think they used to, but now it's.
They still do, though.
I think it's more COOs now. It's more about what needs to be done rather than what we can afford to do, because it's more. Business is becoming more less risk averse, right? Risk averse.
Less risky or more risky?
You take more risks.
Risk averse is you can.
Yeah, you take more risks.
You can take more risks.
Yeah,
So more risk averse.
It's more risk averse, yeah.
Right? Okay.
The risk appetite is getting bigger.
Exactly.
A higher risk appetite.
Getting hungrier. Yes, so it's less about like what does the money say right now and more about what could it be saying in 5 years' time once we do this.
Yeah.
And that's where COOs come in and CMOs. But I don't think CMOs... Deloitte did a study about this. The CMOs rarely, for instance, find seats in boards because decisions are driven by operations and financial people.
I find that a lot of the founders but they would.
No, and
they have no problem with the CMO not being there when decisions are being taken.
Yeah, because most CMOs don't bring the value they can bring to the table. Because in reality, in a world where social media, social brands, personal brands, understanding your customer, that's power and you can literally, if you are a good marketer, you can literally predict markets in the future.
Do you think marketing agencies are to blame for this lack of trust in CMOs? Because marketing agencies have done so many lift and shift.
No, a CMO has nothing to do with a marketing agency. A marketing agency.
Some people don't get a CMO; they hire a marketing agency to do it for them.
We're talking about Malta, right? People who hire I don't think it's an either or, Tom. It's more, I think, people don't invest in their own marketing team and just work with agencies.
Yeah, but it's why?
But because they don't, most of the times, because they can't afford a C-level marketing.
Oh man, I feel it costs you in the long run still, huh? If you don't get someone on board.
But realistically speaking, if you're a small business, it doesn't make sense to get a CMO. Maybe a fraction of CMO, but that's like a trend that
I don't think it's a trend. I think it's a necessity, man. Like the fractional world is growing.
Of course, yeah, that's what I mean.
A
trend that's picking
like companies with 5 to 100 employees are going for fractional and they outsource most.
Yes.
It's cheaper. You don't have to worry about leave. You don't have to worry about termination. You don't have to worry about anything like NI. You just pay the price. You don't even need to have this person there all the time.
Yeah.
You have this person who's locked in, it's in his best interest or her best interest to be efficient and to be effective. What is there to lose?
It's a very low risk employment, yeah.
And that's my pitch as a COO, as a fractional COO, is if you hire a COO, if he's a good COO, in a year he should be redundant. You should be now getting a new COO to change the direction. But the thing is, if he's a COO that's getting paid 100K, between 80 and 100K, which is the running cost of a good COO, do you think he's going to leave after a year? Fuck that. I'm going to get my bonus, I'm going to get my parents, I'm going to stay here as long as I can.
Yeah.
And then the value of the COO is going to go down over time because once you put in your processes, you're going to run it, and then you just
Although I also believe it depends on the structure of the company, like if it's a holding company that has other different companies
for
and
sure.
new projects coming up.
That's
like
yeah,
you
but then
always
that's
have-
but that's a
that's
career
where you
progression.
actually need a CMO,
But that's
a COO.
that's a career progression. As the COO is jumping from project to project, so he stays excited. But if you're running a company,
No,
where,
that's where the company, where it makes sense for the company to actually have a
yeah, 'cause
COO
you're jumping
and not fraction it.
the houses.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But if you want to scale your business and you just need processes, SOPs, you need like good hiring mechanisms, you need like good capability frameworks, you need good change management, you need good people being hired, you need a good recruitment pipeline, good forecasting, good quality control for if you're customer service based, good quality checking. If you are, in the manufacturing, you make sure that all your e-commerce are linked to your stock and all that stuff. As a good COO will bring in the right people, and I'm like, okay, so we need the CTO or we need the fractions CTO, we need a performance data analyst here, we need an HR, we can outsource it. Like you look at the cost as well, so you kind of does this jack of all trades C-suite level. But then after a year, you'll be like, okay, I've done everything now. So now you can just hire an operations manager at half the pay, run what's already present, and you don't need to now do too much change. There'll be a little bit of, and then usually this person stays on the board and advises a bit and gives a little bit of.
I think is with C-level roles, it's less about execution and more about directing and well, not
But the
consulting
COO
or
is unique
advising.
in that aspect. Like I think the COO needs to roll his sleeves up.
COO is the most involved out of
Strategic,
the
but ground,
for sure. But I don't necessarily agree that after a year they would be redundant in companies where a COO is needed, right?
From my experience,
Not companies who need operations to run smoothly. That's not-
like from my experience, like the
because
last.
C-suite bring the vision in their department, and
But if
you
I
can't
had
have
to-
that as a manager. If you're a manager, your priority, since you're so close to the execution, it's to get shit done.
Yeah.
And managers tend to lose the brand vision. That's where the C-suite.
That's
needs
where they
to
come
be
in
there.
and they drive. They keep
Yeah,
everyone
and renovate the vision. Like, what does my vision mean in 3 years' time?
Yeah.
You know? So
But the thing is, like, so the last 2 years of HSBC, I was like this chief of staff, business manager kind of role, but it was like a COO role, like in terms of I was tasked with managing director gives me the vision. I would go to all the directors, share the vision, bring them together, get their input, regurgitate it somewhere else, come up with initiatives, put in mechanisms in place, make sure our hiring's in line, speak to the risk team, speak to the change team, speak to the people team, make sure everyone's aligned, all that stuff. But then, like, after 2 years, when you have all of it, and that took a while because it was like a massive thousands of people function, right? So that took like 2 years. But after 2 years, I was like, okay, now it's just more of the same. Even though the vision changes, it's still more of the same. The mechanisms are there. We just need to tweak the engine now. And as much as I was useful, I felt I was redundant.
But could it also have been the case that who did you work with?
With HSBC.
Could it be the case that HSBC stopped being proactive in that department? So
No, this is call centers. You can't not be proactive. You need to constantly.
So it wasn't the case where you were bringing up projects or suggestions on how to optimize and they were being shut down.
Oh no, not at all. Projects, they were always coming, but Adam, maybe me. But this was something that other colleagues agreed on.
Or maybe you just got bored.
It got too easy, literally.
But exactly.
every 5
doesn't
years,
mean you weren't needed.
No, I was needed because after I left, they hired somebody else.
There you go.
That's the thing, right? But so what happens is that what I've noticed or in the corporate world is how we ran the business. It cycled every 5 years.
Yeah.
And we would shift from people to cost.
Tajjeb, mela.
So I think this brings us to an end for the first.
Of whatever the fuck that was.
We're also going to film. We're also going to try and film on location with certain guests. We are going to go a bit more local I think, this time as well.
Yes. Yes, more
Particularly
relevant.
small business, particularly moving away from the corporate personas that we have chiseled ourselves into and chiseled ourselves out of.
Out of, yes.
Just be yourselves, guys.
Devolved into
Please.
and devolved back up.
Just be people. Care about each other. Be nice. Don't be a dick.
And grow up.
And don't grow up.
Never.
Never
Stay
grow up.
playful.
Just stay playful.
And curious.
But just be nice. And I think, like, do your job with care. Do your job with curiosity. The results will speak for
You
themselves.
don't have to be nice.
No, you can be nice. Why not?
You can, yes, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, set healthy boundaries, but be nice. Don't be a dick.
Well, some people deserve being a dick.
Yeah, kill them with kindness, bro. Always be the nice guy.
Just be yourself.
That's it. Nah, don't be yourself all the time.
This is the most ADHD conversation we had so far.
I don't like when people say just be yourself. What does that mean?
Wait, it means whatever it means for everyone, no?
Shall I put my, like, I don't know. Nah, it doesn't make sense.
See, be yourself.
Be
Doesn't
yourself.
make sense.
I think you need. I think that everybody puts up a mask, right? It's the ego, and
Yeah, but as much as possible.
I think be yourself in front of your friends, but like don't be yourself in front of everyone. Like I reserve.
be yourself always. Like, okay, this is the same.
What a debate. We should be closing this, but go on.
This is the same conversation we have about brand, right?
Be genuine.
Be yes, be authentic.
Yeah,
Be authentic. Like, if you're a guy who wears, scusi il-kelma, Crocs, you don't wear Crocs to a wedding, because, but that doesn't mean it's not,
I've got a wedding on Saturday, buddy. Is that a bet?
But if you don't,
No.
but if you don't wear it, does that mean you're not yourself? No, you're adapting to the environment.
Yeah, so that's
but
what I mean. It's
but
like
you're still gonna keep your values, and it doesn't. If you're not a nice person, it doesn't mean you're rude or a dick. It's like maybe you're just you don't like to socialize, and it's fine if you're happy.
and clap your hands. Hey, nice. Let's go. But no, what I'm trying to say is that I don't know. The be yourself thing is always like for me. I am a different person to different people.
I try not to be.
I
as
wear
much as
different
possible.
masks. There's the masks, Gene. Have you watched the mask? The masks, Gene.
No,
When he's explaining, everybody wears a mask,
But
Gene.
some-
And then Jim Carrey makes fun of this guy.
actually, it sounded like Sean Connery.
Yeah, because he makes fun of him as the Sean Connery voice.
Okay.
I think I'm so used to masking that it's true. But like sometimes if you're yourself, man, especially in certain scenarios, it's tough. You need to kind of
The
chill.
problem is, if you're at work,
Can we hear you?
if you're at work most of the times, work is not yourself.
Yeah.
Itself.
Don't be yourself at work.
No, but if you're talking about stuff that is work related, that's not necessarily who you are outside, but you can deliver the message that kind of relates to work in your own way.
Yeah.
And
Like-
how kind of you see it and how kind of your vision is of that. And you don't have to kind of, put that work related stuff into like a nice polished term.
One of my best friends, or
Work,
my best
work,
friend,
work.
always says that.
Work is part of who you are. You are not part of it's not entirely who you
Yeah,
are.
but like so
and nothing is.
I've got like my best friend or one of my best friends. I've worked with him and we hang out all the time, right? But he always says he was like, you've got this thing where you can switch from Dan to work Dan,
Yeah.
and work Dan's still this friendly, genuine guy, but he's a different human being. Like it's like you're talking to a different person.
But isn't that also being yourself?
Yeah, no, it's my I don't think I'm ever myself fully, except like around a handful of people. I think we can have this discussion another time.
Yes, we should.
But I think both of us are right in a way of
I think
like you
it's-
should be genuine, and I think that anything you do should be from the heart in terms of that. If I work for a client, like I would never work for a client for money, just for money.
I think we will find out that we're both saying the same thing.
I think so.
And the way to get there is that we both articulate what it means to be yourself better.
That's correct.
So yeah.
I think I like the word genuine. Or I like the word care. I use it a lot. Like when I draft like vision systems for companies, I always loop in the word care. Because and I got this from, I've said this before, I've got this from one of my favorite mentors I had. He was my managing director at the bank as well. And he always looped in care and everything. And I was like, guys, if you care enough, this will get done properly. And at the same time, you
Care
should...
isn't giving a shit, right?
Yeah, but I think just it can mean a lot of things. Like caring meaning that being curious. It's about being genuine. It's about giving due diligence to a problem. It's about... And then I kind of took it the next step as well, is that volume knob of care can also be turned down sometimes.
Yeah.
If something's stressing you out, care less about it. Like just reevaluate how much you're giving into that problem and how much you're giving into this situation and how much the situation is giving you back. And if that situation is giving you back a lot of stress, I was talking to our mutual friend earlier this week, and he was like, oh man, I can't keep up with meetings. I was like, listen, grab your calendar, take a screenshot, look at the meetings, look at those clients, and put a 1 to 10 number of how much you should be caring about this client based on how much this client cares about your value. And that will tell you how many meetings you take for that client in a week.
Yeah, he needs to learn how to do that.
But he was like, oh, that's really good. He's like, now I've cleaned out my calendar because certain meetings I'm not jumping it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't care.
No, you can't give 100% to everything.
You can't care as much as you care for your girlfriend to how much you care about an acquaintance you've just met. They can't have the same level of care. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend or your parents deserve way more attention than somebody you've just met across the street. Like my best friend, I'll give him my time whenever. Like my best friends, my group of friends, I will give them my time as much as I want. But if somebody who's not in my best friend group asks me to go and help them move house, this is going to be a priority.
This is a good topic to discuss. The optimization of care.
Yeah, the optimization. It's where it's ultimately where you distribute pieces of you, right? That's it. Ooh, so you're distributing pieces of you and distributing your time.
And now I see what you mean by care. Okay, all right.
Because that's where you're putting your energy and your mental health. Like for me, if I don't spend at least an hour with my daughter every day, I don't manage every day. I'll be honest, but 6 out of 7 days a week, I'm spending more than an hour. I go and train with her twice a week, which is great because I take her to jiu-jitsu and then I'm one of the instructors in that class. So I'm seeing her spar and then we'll spar.
And you're doing something you both enjoy.
Exactly.
And that's better than 8 hours of watching TV.
Bro, I have way more quality time with my daughter than most dads because I train with her, right?
Daddy D.
And then we're talking about jiu-jitsu in the drive home. Amazing. And then we're talking about school. And then we're listening to the same music.
Amazing.
I got her into Tenacious D this week. We should cut that out.
Can we play it?
She was like, Daddy, can you play that song? It was the best song in the world. It's my favorite song. And I'm like, oh, I love you so much. But and it's
just so happened to me.
And I bro, and we're singing it to the, and they recently released "Hit Me Baby One More Time," where is a rendition of Jack Black and Kyle Gass, the HSD, and it's awesome.
Really,
hit me baby one more time, and then he does this little hook where he goes, "Hit me baby, but not too hard. Hit me one more time." It's so good.
I also love Lonely Island.
Lonely Island is awesome. Well, I think Lonely Island is a bit too much for my 6-year-old daughter. Tenacious D. Some songs Tenacious D are good. Some are not, which she hasn't listened to yet, but I'm slowly going to introduce it to her.
Fair. So are we actually concluding now, or
we're wrapping up? Thank you for watching. This has been Dan and
Matt.
This has been Dan and a bit more excitement.
Alright, let's do it again.
The now is going to be shit because now I have to fake it. It's no longer. Thank you for watching. This has been Dan and
Matt.
Whatever that was. And we're gonna meet you when we have the next episode. Once we get the guest on, it's gonna be awesome. I'm so looking forward. Hey man,
thanks for having me.
Welcome on board. This is a really good show, guys. Watch us, like, subscribe, go on Patreon, give us things, give us your attention, give us your time, and we will give you back a lot of value, or we'll try to, and a lot of bullshit and a lot of random talks. But
feel free to chime in.
Yes, let us know what you wanna see. Give us some feedback. I think it's really important to hear from our audience. It's it's good that we always receive a lot of feedback, and we receive a lot of like messages and emails, which is good. Keep that going, and we'll see you on the next one.